So in this episode, we'll be talking about Evil Dead, the game. Let's get started. So if you don't remember one of my previous videos, I said if you get 150 likes on that video, I will tell you my ideas for an Evil Dead video game. And well, you all kind of shattered that shit. Now, if you're new to this channel, then I actually did a video over a year ago kind of mimicking and doing a little satire version of Friday the 13th, the game, as if it was Evil Dead. You can go ahead and check out that video right there if you want. Now, some ideas for an Evil Dead video game would actually completely flip and twist the asymmetrical survival horror genre, because instead of the majority of the people being the survivors and the single person being the killer, it would be the complete opposite. The main person would be Ash, and well, the person that would usually be the killer would be Ash. Not to say that he's going to be evil, but it's just kind of a flip basis. So it would be a 7v1 game, 7 people being the deadites, 1 person being Ash. And they have to attack and kill Ash. Now, Ash can obviously have a little bit more strength to take them on, and there will be some really cool shit going on, such as scenes as if you were in a cabin and 7 people were surrounding it trying to get in. Ash has to board up the windows and the walls. You have to try to break in. He kills you. Now, some of the other cool ideas would be, instead of Tommy Jarvis in a sense, or in his character, once you kill so many people, instead of coming back as Tommy Jarvis, you would come back as that giant Kandarian demon. Yes, that's right, that big giant beast. Now, of course, he wouldn't be able to just plow through the house, but he could slam against the door and get in, and he'd be much faster than the deadites and all that other crazy shit. And if you're chosen to come back as a Kandarian demon, you can also go ahead and insert yourself into random objects on the map, such as a tree. You know, the tree that raped the girl. You'd actually be able to control the tree, grab Ash, and use that as a kill point. And of course, if Ash has his chainsaw hand with fuel in it, he'd be able to fight the tree back. And the demons would actually have a selection. You could have some of your favorite demons from Evil Dead 1, 2, or Army of Darkness, or even Ash vs. Evil Dead. There could be a whole slew of people to select from. This could be such a badass idea on so many levels, because you're no longer in the asymmetric survival horror game of playing 7v1, where 7 people are the good guys and 1 person's the bad guy. It would now be 1 person is the good guy and 7 people are the bad guys. There's a whole endless amount of shit, such as, I mean, some of the things you would have to steal some of the ideas from Friday the 13th, the game, such as getting parts to start his old car up, or building the damn chainsaw. I don't think you should necessarily start with the chainsaw unless you're doing like a Kickstarter backer program, and maybe kind of like the way they give Savini Jason, you give the chainsaw away. But then I think people would get really irritated with that because they never have the opportunity to get the chainsaw. And that's what everybody wants, is the hand chainsaw, which is what that's in the progress of. Now, this just could be just an endless amount of shit and take away from the same repetitive shit we see in asymmetric horror games over, and over again. Or things like Last Year the Nightmare, where they try to make it more original by giving you respawns, which actually makes the game more boring faster. It did not make that game any more fun, it made it worse. Now, in this sense, you could actually use the respawn aspect because the demons or deadites keep coming back. Now, of course, you'd have to make them not as strong as Ash, obviously, so they'd have to be slower and weaker. But you get the opportunity to have respawns, and that would be a really interesting way, I think, to balance the game out. So you'd have to be more strategic as a team, kind of like Friday the 13th. So I know those people who complain about Dead by Daylight aren't going to like this idea because, well, it's strategic. You can't go off single person and expect to take on Ash because he'll f you up, nor would you be able to keep up with him. The same as it would be in the movie. One-on-one, he f***ed up all the demons. It wasn't until there was a whole bunch of them, or a few of them, that created strategic plans to attack him. Or just one really super smart demon, again, strategically thinking. So you'd have to block the doors or have people hide and wait for him to come out and then grab him and hold him down. And of course, the kills wouldn't just be this boring ass hit him shit, right? You'd actually have the opportunity as a deadite to actually grab him. So you'd have to grab his arm. He could fight back. So you'd have to have, again, strategically comes into play. All your strategy. Another deadite come in, hold him. You'd have to hold him down, limb, grabbing limbs. You could be able to carry him off and take him and chop him up into pieces if you could get away with it. Of course, you'd have the fast tapping breakaway and like that. But there'd be so much going on in this game with the ideas I have for it. This game would take a tremendous amount of money, a tremendous amount of effort, and would probably take 4 or 5 years, as long as Last Year the Nightmare took. Of course, it would probably be a lot better and less boring and more balanced. And of course, I would hope that the people running it weren't douchebags, because that's just a failed formula for video games. Let me think about that for a second. You got Ash, who's the badass, everybody up. You can choose between different Ashes, obviously. That would be your selection, kind of like different Jasons. And you'd be able to completely kill these people, and of course the respawns would take longer each time, but then they would come up, but they would only come back out of a graveyard area, right? So your respawn would come out of a graveyard, and it would be a team collaboration in respawns. So you would have a graveyard, and every map would have a different size graveyard. So that's where strategically your strategy would come into play per map. So say like one map has 10 graveyards, which would give your team as a whole 10 respawns, because they would have to come back as a new corpse each time. Or you could have a giant map with 20 bodies and they could come back, or you could have a map with multiple cemeteries, each one containing 5 or 6, and you could choose where you wanted to start. So if Ash was over here, you could start over here. It would all be a strategic team-based game, no more single-player shit. Again, because your respawns would be shared and limited as a team. This is just some of the ideas I have for an Evil Dead game. I think it'd be badass as of course. I don't have the funds to pull this off. I don't have the knowledge or the connections to create a developing company. But if there's somebody out there who wants to create this game and wants some ideas and team up, I'm open to ideas. But I think this would be a really badass idea for a video game, especially since we would be flipping everything. So many ideas. There would be so much new brought into the asymmetric survival horror genre. It would be the next level, not just the same repetitive formula where you could be like, Michael Myers taking on 7 people. Jason Voorhees taking on 7 people, a Strangler taking on 7 people. It's the same different game. You got to create something new and different. I think this would be the next step or level in the asymmetrical survival horror genre. But I want your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Do you think this is a badass idea? Do you like all the ideas I've shared, or do you have some of your own? Also, don't forget the new series, Ocean of Horrors. Horrors, not whores, like a sea of whores that are going to give you blowjobs, okay? I know some of you need to get a hearing test in the comment section of the last video. But this is a new series that I'm actually going to be starting and focusing on a lot, which is why you probably don't see as many videos on this channel right now, is because I'm trying to get this set up. I've been talking to some companies, because we're going to be going around all of Florida to the Keys to Miami. We're going to be going out into the ocean, diving, deep sea diving, swimming with sharks. Just a whole bunch of crazy ass horror shit in real life, not just sitting here talking about horror shit, but actually getting involved in it. And again, as I said, hopefully this can inspire some of the younger audience that just sits here and watches videos all day, even though I know that's kind of contradictory or completely just, contradicting myself, because I'm making these videos and you all are watching them, so it would kind of be contradictory. But if I could use this platform in a way to inspire instead of just a way to create dabs or something fucking stupid, but to get people outside and experience some of the cool shit that goes on in the world before you, I don't know, decide you just want to full-blown get into a job and you're working 80 hours a week or something and you have no time for it. This would be the time to get involved. So that's kind of what the series focuses around. And obviously, it's going to be more aimed at the ocean, because there's a lot of horrific shit. And yes, I'll be 100% in the ocean with the GoPros and all that great shit. So if I die, I die. Don't worry, I have a backup plan. The video will be uploaded. If I die, however, YouTube won't like it. Now, speaking of YouTube, because YouTube is f***ing me over and everybody else over, and people are now suing YouTube because, yes, believe it or not, just because you own a business doesn't give you the right to do whatever you want. You still have federal guidelines, state guidelines you have to appease by. So people are suing them for lots of reasons. And I'm being demonetized. My last video that I was talking about to put the video cameras down and stop recording people dying and doing something to help them. I even listed ways for people who are more of flight mode and don't jump in to help, things that they could do. YouTube doesn't agree with that message, and according to them, they use their scapegoat of, well, it's not advertisers that don't want it. They don't want it. Well, really, because I contacted 2 advertisers. I even spoke to a live person at YouTube. 2 advertisers that were on that video, and they said they actually really enjoyed that video and have no problem with their ads being on it. So again, this is YouTube creating a scapegoat and me over because these videos cost money. I'm not just sitting here with a little iPhone, you know, talking and shaking and like some of these people that hardly have any subs. No offense if you're one of them, but quality standards cost money, and the that I'm about to create is going to cost a big chunk of money, and I'm not really asking for much. I do have a GoFundMe. It's just simply for $1,000 to help with some of the smaller things. Obviously, everything else will be coming out of pocket. However, as I said, YouTube's trying to screw me out of money. So what's happening is oceanofhorrors.com. See that? That's the URL. If you go there and register, you're actually going to get all the information and updates before anywhere else. And there's a thing called the Shark Chum Club. So if you become a Shark Chum member, which is just $49 for an entire year, no monthly bull crap, which is much cheaper than a year basis for sponsoring YouTube or Patreon. $49 for an entire year, and I will be giving away a custom beach towel for the first X amount of users. I don't know yet. I'm still talking to the company about how much they're willing to give me leeway and quantity-wise on a certain amount of money. So we'll find that out. It might be like the first 20 or 30 people that become Shark Chum members might get that. But you will get access to all the Ocean of Horror videos 1 to 2 weeks. Yeah, 1 to 2 weeks before I put them on YouTube, which is an insane amount of time to see before anything else comes out. You'll get behind the scenes footage, which the behind the scenes footage might actually be a lot better than the actual videos, because I have a lot of bloopers on my computer that are just so much funnier than the you're seeing here. And I've never shared them. I never really thought people would be really interested behind the scenes. So I figured we include that in the Shark Chum member. $49 a year. If you are a vet or active military, I do have a discount code for you. So just contact me. You can do it in the Discord, Twitter, Facebook, and just show me your ID or any way you want to prove it, and I will give you a discount. I believe the discount's something like 25%. So it's pretty good, I think. Just trying to give back something, you know, the best I can. And if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification box. If you don't, you'll be notified of kick-ass such as this. And be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, because whenever you likes on this video, we'll get you another horror video on this channel. Don't forget to join the Discord, because that's where we're all having a kick-ass time in there. And as always, I'll see you next time.